uh, I sometimes forget. Like I just start talking, right, and then oh yeah, we got to go live.
Well, going live on time is important.
It is, and here we are. So, hello everybody. Welcome to Broadcasting to Your Community. Myself and my friend Steven Healey from the UK, and we were just talking politics. I got a feeling that'll be part of our topic today. But before we get into that, Steven, for those who might not know, there's some really exciting things happening at Be Live.
There surely are, and it's such a long list that I've got to go and try and find it.
Yeah.
Hang on, Fonz asked me earlier, so I sent it to Fonz. That's good. Right, yeah. I mean, where do we start? I suppose broadcasting to YouTube, which we can expect within the next 2 weeks, is going to be a game changer.
Yeah.
I know we said that about Twitch, but I feel YouTube has a better chance of making a difference.
Oh, you mean, what do you mean by that?
Well, first of all, most people have already got a YouTube account.
Right.
People go to YouTube to watch videos. It's got the second largest search engine in the world.
Yeah.
Oh,
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, you know me, I'm a huge Twitch advocate. And I've been getting back on Twitch and just sort of nothing real consistent yet. I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to brand myself on Twitch, because I have a feeling it'll be a little bit different than how I'm branded on Facebook as far as community goes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not really a gamer, but I do play some games just to throw it in there. But I'm a talk show guy, so that's kind of the way I'm leaning towards. But what I'm going to talk about is going to be different than, like, I'm not going to duplicate what I'm doing on my show, right? It'll be a different brand.
I understand where you're coming from. We're actually going to be moving I Live Here direct from Facebook to YouTube. It will become a YouTube show.
Oh, okay.
But there's one question mark over it all. I mean, when we went to Twitch last year, we had the use of chat software, and I'm just wondering how it's going to work on YouTube. How will you actually build community?
For me, you mean?
Do we have somewhere we can take people? In other words, it seems silly. All right, okay. From the point of view, go live on YouTube. You go live, you speak to people, you see the comments, and you can go and you can not reply afterwards, but you can actually see the comments. When you go live on YouTube, should your community live still on Facebook?
Should they still live on Facebook?
Yeah, in other words, where's the group going to be? I mean, we've got the Be Livers group on Facebook, but there is no group on YouTube. Okay.
Group. I'm a little confused at what you're asking. Like.
All right. Okay. No problem there. I'll rephrase. I don't have. Basically, there are two elements to a broadcast. One is the visual live show.
Yeah.
And the second is after the show, where you all meet up in different communities and carry on the conversation.
Oh, I see.
Now, at the moment, on Facebook, we go live on Facebook, and we can actually go back to the comments. We can comment. We can take people across into Messenger.
Yeah.
It's all integrated. Whereas on YouTube, there ain't anything. There isn't a Facebook.
Well, there's YouTube. The chat. You have your chat, right?
Like, you can have a chat.
There's chat. Yeah. There's also comments.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have the comments, just like on Facebook. You can comment, and then now the little difference there is that you can't reply to those comments while you're live.
True.
You have to go back after, but it's the same but different. Like you still build a community by replying to those comments, and chat is really huge as far as interaction on YouTube when you're live, as is Twitch, right?
Yeah,
that's a real big, because in Twitch there's no comment section, it's just chat.
yeah.
And engaging and pardon me, engaging with your audience in that chat is huge. Now, that being said, Twitch broadcasters typically have a YouTube channel, and they might share some clips from their Twitch broadcast, like repurposing, for example. Let's get into that a little bit. The repurposing, when you repurpose something, and I'm guilty of this. I do my show on Facebook, and then it gets automatically uploaded to YouTube. The exact same thing that was on Facebook is on YouTube. Is that repurposing?
That is repurposing, but it's not repurposing to good effect.
Right.
And I'm guilty of the same.
It's the exact same thing, right? Now, the advantage of doing that is that it's one more place when you're Googled, you'll be found. So there's purpose in that. Twitch streamers, it's something I'll start to do. They don't just take their clips and whatever from Twitch and upload them to YouTube. So you'll have a guy on Twitch that's a gamer and talking, and then he'll make little YouTube tutorials on how to grow your audience and how to whatever that's based on them. They don't upload the same content that they just did on Twitch. So they grow their communities by offering more valuable content. And then they go to Instagram as well, and they use Instagram effectively, sharing what they're, I'm going for a walk today, and this is what's more of a personal thing. Anyway, but we can't take them all and mish them all up together. Right?
No, I've put together a schedule of shows which will be on Facebook and shows which will be on YouTube.
Yeah.
And we'll just have to see how it works out. I mean, the fact is that we can get 4 people up on screen on YouTube with everything we've got in the Be Live studio, and we're bringing something that's not been available before. So we are new kids on the YouTube block, but only in the sense of live. We've both got YouTube channels that've been there since we created them, which is quite a while ago.
Yeah. And I'll just speaking of engaging, I'll say hello Lily May. She says, I like casino, free online games. Good.
Okay.
I'm not.
That's good.
Do you play games, Stephen? Do you play little mobile games like Candy Crush or anything like that?
No. Sorry. I play Doom. I play what's the other one? Several RPGs.
Oh yeah.
But not.
I never knew that about you. I never knew that.
You see. Well, basically, my 2 sons got interested in computers when Doom was released.
Yeah. And
the beauty of Doom was that you can actually create levels for people to explore.
Oh, okay.
And they both got into designing levels. And one of James's levels was actually picked up by a Japanese Doom magazine. And, it was his first claim to fame. Nice. It was exciting. It still is. I mean, he's still got in his CV. Well, no, he hasn't, but it was one of his first steps on the road to getting involved in computing.
Nice.
So to that extent, it's good. So YouTube, we're looking 2 to 3 weeks away. Probably less than that. Who knows? And we're looking forward to going out in 1080p, which would be awesome. Yeah. As well.
I got to admit, at LiveCon, I was like, "Oh, YouTube's coming," and then I was like, "Oh, a couple more weeks." But I'm not heartbroken. I was just excited, right? But excuse me.
Well,
but I was like a little kid on Christmas morning. You have the LiveCon, and But at the same time, I think they might have had a plan to do that originally. But if they didn't, there's a reason. And it's a good reason, and it usually means they want to make sure everything's working properly. Would be my guess.
I mean, I was fortunate enough to actually test it, and I can say that it works, and the comments are integrated, and everything is seamless, and it's just separate destination from the BeLive Studio 2.
Yeah.
And it's easy to use.
Yeah. And I know there's a lot more coming. Like they were talking about green screening and multicasting and just a whole
RTMP.
bunch of features at RTMP. Yeah. So there'll be a lot of things we'll be able to do. And I know sometimes people, they ask for things and then they're like, why is it taking so long? Well, you're not sitting at that dinner table, so you don't know what's going on, right? So
I mean, the fact is that there are thousands of shows taking place on BeLive every day. Yeah. And if you've got an error in your software, it doesn't just affect the one person who reported the error, it could affect the thousands as well. So you've got to be very careful. It's safety first, really, because you don't want to create a problem and have it multiplied upon people annoyed.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, in BeLivers, we see the people with problems. We don't see too many people in there with problems. So as that's sort of the second most popular place to actually report a problem, it would appear that most broadcasts go ahead without a problem. One of the things that's coming up that does fascinate me endlessly, because I am with a new toy, is co-producing.
Oh, yes.
Where we could actually co-produce a show, so that, for argument's sake, your show at 3:30 today, you could say, right, okay, I'm going to be on-screen talent, and Stephen's going to be in the background. He's going to be producing it, but he's going to do it on my page, and we'll be able to do that, and vice versa, of course. And that's going to be a game changer, because it means you can produce shows for people on their page, and they have control, and you have control at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is something we've been asking for about 2 years. The technical side of it obviously isn't straightforward. So when that comes to fruition, as it will on Studio 2, then we'll have greater freedom than we have at the moment.
Yeah, lots of advantages. And the thing is, they listen, right? BeLive listens, and I'm sure they have a list.
Oh yeah.
Gimme. But here's one of the things, and I just want to put this out there for anybody who might be watching this. When you have an issue, I don't like it when people go into the BeLivers group and go on this rant. I did this and I paid for that and that. I demand. Wait a minute. I don't think anybody, well, maybe some people do, but I don't think most people on the planet wake up and go, how am I going to screw somebody over today? It's like, come on. Well, I don't think BeLivers does.
No.
I don't think BeLive does.
No.
And I don't think most companies do. So when it gets ranting and going on and blah, 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 and then people try to help, and then that person doesn't even really listen. They're just, it's like they're crying or something. It's like, contact support. They will assist you.
It's like looking at your picture now as I am in the studio. Picture is being transmitted to me, and it is crystal clear, perfectly clear. And it's with the technology we've got at the moment, where not everybody's got wireless wired going straight up to the router, and we've got the internet in between, and we're going through 2 servers and God knows what else. How complicated this all is, and your picture is perfect. And we've spoken about this before, but this is not TV, but it's getting darn close. Yeah, because your picture of me is transmitted.
Yeah. I will admit, and I've noticed it last week's my last week's show and a few others. It comes out pixelated and rough, but it doesn't seem that way when I'm live. But I've spoken to BeLive about it, and others have, and they're aware of it. And now I just keep going with what I have.
This is live. This is live. It's not television, as we keep saying.
Yeah.
But in preparation for YouTube, I've got myself a new camera. And it's the Logitech Brio, and I can change the angle. Yeah. Come back to the one I prefer. I can do all sorts of whizzy things I haven't discovered yet.
Sorry, what's it called again? The Logitech what?
Brio, BRIO.
Oh,
Yeah. Just a minute. I'll type it in. So it's in the host chat. If I could spell it. Oh, caps lock. Where are you? Okay. Right. So that's what it is. It's Logitech Brio, and it is the next step up from the C920, 922. The thing about it is it is capable. It is capable of 4K, but that's just a dream, especially with my machine. But I've noticed that you can actually now, rather than just seeing my hair, you can actually count the hairs on my head. That's the sort of clarity difference. I've got to stop leaning forward. I've got to stop it. Yeah, so new camera, just to upgrade so that when we go live to YouTube, I actually get the benefit of it. Now, that's not to say that the C920 isn't perfectly good. It is. But I just felt the C920, I had it for 4 years. So I thought, I looked at a new camera and that's it. That's the one.
Yeah.
And it is a step up from the C920, and I can do all sorts of whizzy things.
Well, I have the C922.
Okay.
So that would be the step up. Now this is the step up from the 22.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it does come with 12 months subscription to XSplit as well.
Okay. Yeah. Because I have because I can change those things too. Let me see here. Like I can zoom out.
Yep, you did.
And I can go woo. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Tilt and pan.
Yeah.
You can move me over there like that. That's kind of cool to be able to do that. That's something actually that's really handy on Twitch, because in Twitch you have a lot of things going on your screen, right? So
yeah,
helps to be able to move yourself, and I can put me way down there, or way up here.
Also, the thing that you noticed 2 weeks ago, or I mentioned 2 weeks ago, is the new microphone.
Yes.
And you said, yeah, okay, great, okay, but it's picking up the sounds going on all around you.
Yeah.
And you weren't too impressed by it. So I went back to the drawing board and I turned the microphone through 180 degrees.
Yeah.
And it's now working as it should. I had it the wrong way around. Simple.
Oh, okay. All right. Because mine's the Blue Yeti that I have here. And my green screen's not working, but I've got different settings on it so that I can directly at me, everybody around, and a couple of surround sound and all this stuff. But I have the one that works for me. But I have used it in an environment where I've gone out to interview some 4 or 5 people at a table, set it in the middle of the table, and changed the setting and plugged it into my iPhone, and works beautifully. Yeah. So I've always been very happy with my. There's so many things, like so many different microphones and different cameras and different. Like, it's no wonder sometimes people go, "Oh, I want to do that live streaming thing, but how do I start? Like, where do I begin?"
Yeah, true.
You know, even though you have Be Live to keep this stuff simple, it's everything else. You know.
Yeah, indeed. But having said that, my new camera, my new microphone, my new earbuds, you spent the same amount on your earbuds, which you've improved.
Oh yeah. Well, but I didn't. Yeah, but I didn't just buy these for this. But I just thought because I've got a mess in front of me right now. Like, I've got the old wired earbuds that I could plug into my speakers or my Blue Yeti and listen. But then I get wires in the way, and I try to type and whatever. And I've got a couple of them here, and I've got these beautiful, and I use these when I'm on Twitch. These beautiful Beats headphones.
Right.
They're pretty slick. I won them at a fundraiser, and I bought a couple of tickets to win it. You know, put your ticket in, the prize that you want to win, and then you draw, and and they're like $250 headphones.
Brilliant.
I'm like, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Okay.
Well, and let's be honest too, Stephen. At the end of the day, guys like us, we're just playing with our toys. we're just having a good time, right? If we can, why not?
Yeah, the thing is, using Be Live, we can now. Owen is on at 3 p.m. Eastern today, I think.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how you can create video on Be Live Studio to go over to YouTube. So that will be an interesting show because we know that you can actually record without going live.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to hear his take on it. And the second thing is, it's good to see him back because he's pushed himself to get back today. So
yes,
show.
I know he was struggling with some health there for a while, so it's always a scary thing, right?
Right. Talking of scary things, it's the Canadian elections today, isn't it?
Wow, there's a good lead into a conversation. Speaking of scary things, and it's October and Halloween's coming, so it's even more scary.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy. Canadian elections. Yeah, I guess we can go there. Let me just share a screen here.
Yeah, surely.
And the Canadian elections. I'd be curious for anybody who may be watching to let me know if you decided who you're going to vote for. You don't have to tell me who that is. I respect that, but just have you been able to decide?
Indeed. If you're not watching the show on the show with David Burrows, then click the link up above and you'll be able to join us as David tells us all about the Canadian elections.
Yeah. So we have 6 candidates in our electoral district.
Mm-hmm.
People's Party of Canada, which is something new, and that People's Party of Canada was started by a gentleman whose name escapes me, and I believe came from the Conservative Party of Canada originally.
Okay.
Started his own party. I didn't know you could start. I guess you can start our own party. Let's have a party. And then we have the Conservative Party, so the PC, Party of Canada, and then we have the NDP, and then we have the Christian Heritage Party of Canada, which has stirred up a lot of the different things. And then, of course, we have our Liberals, and we have the Green Party of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if you know how our election process works over here, but so what happens is we don't. So right now our Prime Minister is Justin Trudeau.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't vote for Justin Trudeau. Nobody voted for him. We don't go to a ballot and his name is not on the ballot.
Right. Okay.
We vote for seats.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on how many seats you get, the one with the most seats wins, and their leader becomes the Prime Minister.
Right.
So there's issues with that. Well, it depends who you talk to. Some people who are way more educated than I would say, but it's a great system, and then others would say no. But the problem is I might like my local candidate very much. I just might like that person. They've done well in this community for us, et cetera, good presence, all that stuff. But I don't necessarily like their leader. So I want to vote for that person, but at the same time, I don't really like the guy heading up the party either. So I think that's where most people struggle when they vote in Canada. Yeah. It's always an important one when it's elected, but this is a really super important one because I think I was out last night for a bit and I had a conversation with some folks and they were about 22, 23 years old, and then there was another person there that was about 30-ish, and then there's me, the 50-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really quite an interesting different perspective from different generations. And well, I'll bring my son Jason into the conversation. We went out last week, Thanksgiving Monday. We're going to go to the gym, the three of us, and we went there and it was closed because they closed early because it was Thanksgiving. We forgot all about it. So in that whole drive, we were talking about politics, and I said to my son, I said, who are you going to vote for? Or I didn't say who you're going to vote for. I said, have you decided who you're going to vote for? And I said, you don't have to tell me. I just want to know if you've made any decisions. Yeah. He said, anybody but Justin Trudeau. And I said, okay, so you don't like Justin Trudeau. I understand that. But don't just vote for anybody else. Don't just go, eeny, meeny, miny, moe, that one because I don't want Justin Trudeau. I said, I'd sooner you not vote at all. If that's how you're going to vote, because if you're just voting to give the vote to somebody else so that that person doesn't get in, you should still understand that party's policies and make an educated decision. Mm-hmm. And then I explained to him that he doesn't get to go and just, like, Justin Trudeau is not on the ballot. No. This is his first federal election that he's been involved with. Yeah. And I just went, I've taught him a lot about politics and shared a lot about politics, and we've had many conversations, but I guess I left that one out. So when I explained it to him how it works, he went, I guess I have some thinking to do. So, and and Jason's very diligent. He'll be on his phone researching, reading, and all this stuff. So anyway, sorry, I'm taking a lot of the airtime here, but it was just interesting to me that was his way of thinking, was that I'm just going to vote for anybody but that guy. And it's like, that's not the way to do it.
Why is Justin Trudeau so divisive? Why is it sort of, people like him, people hate him?
I think it's just been, there's been some scandalous type things. It's not even there's that. There was something that came out in a picture of him, and he was like painted in black, like black makeup, and was resembling, I don't know. I don't pay attention to that stuff too much, right. but it's the, people will say the Liberals spend a lot of money. A lot. They keep spending. And they do. They're liberal. And the Conservatives, they cut back. Hence the name Conservatives.
Indeed.
It's not more complicated than that, right?
So lower taxes, lower spending.
Something like that, I guess. Yeah. But then it comes down to policies and what do they support. The NDP seem to be supporting a lot of health issues. But okay, for example, and I'll say it, so our local candidate here for PC is Marilyn Gladieux. She's a wonderful person. I've gotten to know her quite well over the last 5 years, 6 years, 4 or 5 years that she's been in local office, and I really like her. I don't know that I really like Andrew Scheer, which is the leader of her party, right?
He's the Conservative leader.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then, then we're our NDP party. It's like in the United States, and I guess in your country as well, and tell me if I'm wrong, you have left and you have right.
Correct.
Okay. In Canada, we have a little bit left, a little more left, really left. We have right, a little more right, really right.
Okay.
And it's and then what happens is parties collaborate.
Yep. Okay.
Well, if you win, we'll kind of come on overboard here with you, and then we'll make our collaboration. I guess that's okay. Yeah. So then the NDP, our local NDP here, Adam Kilner, I've known him since I was about 5 years old. Known his family, wonderful family, very supportive family, very community oriented, blah blah blah, all the positive. But I don't, and this to my own fault, I don't know enough about the NDP party. They're very, they seem to be very supportive of unions, right. Which is in the city I live in, huge, because we have Chemical Valley here and we have all kinds of skills and trades. So that's a big deal to a lot of people in this city. And their leader, and I'm not going to say his name right, but Jagmeet Singh.
Jagmeet Singh.
Yeah. So he's East Indian. Mm-hmm. I watched the political debate there last week, and I thought, I really like him.
Okay.
Now, that being said, I really like his presence. He was, you got Shearer and Trudeau, and they're going blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And he's just standing there, and he's smiling, and then he goes, gentlemen, we don't have to do this. And he was just very, like, his persona and presentation was very calm and cool and intelligent and wonderful. But I don't know anything about his policies enough to say I'm going to vote for him. But and it comes to an interesting point. We'll cross the border over into the U.S. When Trump announced he was running for president. Jennifer, because we've had experience with Donald Trump as far as going to conferences and seeing him speak, etc., and thought he was wonderful. And then he was going to run, and she thought, oh, that's cool, and right on. And then he started opening his mouth.
Indeed.
And she's like, Jennifer.
Well, yes.
So
before the watershed.
Yeah. So, and I remember saying to her, much like the movie maker Michael Moore ever said it, I said, he's going to win. I'm telling you right now, he's going to win. She's like, no way, that's blah, blah, blah. And I had so many people locally, political here that I spoke with. They said, he can't win. He doesn't have, I said, I'm telling you, I don't know how he's going to do it, but he is going to win. And in watching YouTube videos, etc., over the course of the last several years with Jennifer, we was in our living room and trying to watch this stuff and whatever, and one popped up of Obama. Mm-hmm. And Jennifer said, see, now him, I like him. He's really nice. Mm. And I said, what does that got to do with the price of tea in China? Being nice has nothing to do with it. I'll say it has nothing to do with it, but that's not why you should vote for the guy.
Doesn't cost anything to be nice, though.
No. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be. I'm just saying that's not your only reason for voting for somebody. Well, he seems nice, so I'll vote for him. Well, okay, but what does he represent? What's his policies? What's his party's policies? It's a lot of work to research.
Oh, yeah.
And try to figure it out. And there lies the key. Most people don't, in my opinion, don't want to spend the time it takes to figure it out. And even when they do, they're still scratching their head going, what the? Jennifer, I know, is already going, this morning, she's headed out the door and she goes, I go, have you figured it out? She goes, I'll call you before I vote. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's a close call.
Yeah, we seem to go red for a while. Mm-hmm. And then when we don't like that, we go, back over here.
Yeah.
And we don't like it over there, we go back over there. Now, that being said, there are many people that I know who vote one way and they just stick with it. Yeah, there's bad things about every party, but let's focus on the positive. And then you get into like accountability, response to all that stuff coming, transparency and I don't know.
on a day-to-day basis, I just devil's advocate. Does it make any difference who's in power?
Well, sure, but I mean, one of the things that's talked about a lot in politics in Canada is which is better, a majority government or a minority government, and that's an ongoing. If you have a majority government, it can almost be like a benevolent dictatorship, right? When you have a minority government, at least there's a say coming from other parties, a stronger say, and some of those smaller parties can also collaborate together and have those conversations and go, okay, we really need to make this work. So there's a lot of bargaining goes on. But government it's become big business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could go into politics and be a MP or MPP or prime minister or whatever, or just be involved in the party and get yourself a pretty nice cushy pension after, I don't know, 8 years.
Right.
It's crazy the amount of money.
Yeah. Would you go into politics?
Ha! I've thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been asked to. I've had some people come up to me and say, "When are you running for mayor?" I'm like, "Give your head a shake."
Okay.
No. And they're like, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, listen, no, I appreciate you saying that. It's a compliment for someone to say, I would vote for you. I would vote for you." And I've had several say that. I said, "Yeah, but why would you vote for me?" I don't, you know, there's more to just loving your community and being a nice guy and making decisions. It's you know, like our current mayor has been the mayor for, I think he's coming up to being the second longest running mayor in Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Like since the 80s, right? I can't remember.
Right.
And good mayor, does well. It's had some issues that seem to have gotten through, and I was scratching my head over when that was all happening. Like, oh, I don't know, and but does, for the most part. I don't agree with everything, but I don't think there's anybody I could agree with everything. But it's done well for mayor. But he's got so much experience there at the table. If I were to get into politics, I wouldn't just go run for mayor. I would get involved, and then at some point perhaps run for city council, and then be on that for a while if I could stay there.
Yeah.
And if I can stay there for 2 terms, maybe 3, then that kind of says to me that maybe people are interested in I don't know. There'd just be no. I don't think. Well, Jennifer wouldn't allow it. I'll tell you that.
It's a joint decision, isn't it? Because when you go into politics, even at a local level, there's so much time you've got to invest.
Oh,
and you've got to decide that's going to have first priority, and it can totally mess with the way things are.
And I've gotten to know and built relationships with many different counselors over the years, and one of the things they tell me is the reading that they have to do. They still get reports on paper and go home. It's that thick, and you got to read all the staff reports and everything that's going on. It's just. I honestly, I think, you know, what would be the purpose of going into politics and say at a local level in my city? What would be the purpose of that? To help my community, to help grow my community, to help promote my community. I'm already doing that. It's my camera. And I've often said to people, I say, you know what? I think I can have more influence and have more of an impact on my community with what I'm doing right now and my camera than I could sitting at that table. And that's the way it's going for me, right? When I have people, and I'm not saying this to impress anybody, just to impress upon the fact that when I have people come up to me, that it happened to me yesterday. I was doing a Sting game. This gentleman, elderly gentleman, walked by. He goes, "You're David Burrows, right?" I said, "Yes. I love your show and what you do."
Really?
I said, "Thank you very much." "No, really," he said, I said, "No, I really appreciate that." He said, "Keep it up." And he just walked away. And I was like, boy, if that doesn't keep you going.
Oh, true.
Right. Right. Ronnie Fraser. Hello, Ronnie. Thanks for being here. A friend of mine from way back, high school days.
Greetings.
And a great follower here at the show as well. Thanks, Ronnie, he shares a lot of stuff. I appreciate that. So, so I guess in a way I'm already in politics. I just, nobody's telling me what to do. Well, maybe Jennifer is. I don't know. But it's an interesting animal, right, Stephen? And I know you're strongly informed and involved in your world of politics. And I don't know if I'd trade places with you right now.
Right. I basically I'm chair of the twinning committee, which is Mayenne and Wageningen in France and Germany, and it's my job to actually act as the sort of head of the twinning in devisers, and that means that I have to give a speech. We met up in Mayenne. It was Saturday, and the mayors of the towns had a discussion, and then it was down to the chairman. Now, I'm the chair in devisers. There are chairs in France and in Germany, and we have to give a little speech. And I've given that speech twice now. This is going to make a third time. Okay?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. Je m'appelle Steven. Je suis le président de jumelage de devisers. Es tut mir leid. Ich habe 3 Glas Wein getrunken und ich kann nicht mehr Deutsch sprechen. So that's the French and the German done.
Yeah.
So now I can switch over to English. And last weekend, 4 members of our committee, that's Bridget, Jasper, Angelica, and myself, went to London to just convey one message. And that message is bollocks to Brexit. We've had enough. We don't want to leave the EU. We want to stay. And these are the reasons why. And that's basically it. That brought a round of applause in France, because they're used to hearing people who want to leave the EU, and they forget that half the country don't want to go. And in terms of the local community, where we all want to be in the EU, then that got the message across too at the AGM last week. So that's it. That's my foray into politics as far as it goes. Angelica has been invited to be the Liberal Democrat. What's the word I'm looking for? When you stand for election. To stand for election to the local state council. And she's, as we said a moment ago, it's a partner thing. And Angelica spoke to me, asked me for my thoughts, and she's going ahead with it. So there you are. So interesting times.
Well, like you said, it's a joint decision between
It surely
people
is.
who are involved with each other, and it scares the hell out of Jennifer to think that I would even consider doing that. She's just like, she's like, David, you've worked too hard to have what you have now, to risk that, and people like to dig up crap from the past and all this stuff, and then it's not only that, then it brings and I have 2 young children. Like, don't get me wrong, they're not kids, but they're young adults, and kudos to anybody who makes that decision to go for it. But I've also seen the effect of some of those people locally, what it's had on them mentally and their families. Besides, I don't know if I could get through a week of it. I might want to hurt somebody after a week of sitting in the chair.
Right. Okay. Well, I hope
film at 11.
I hope that you get the result that you're looking for in the election today.
Yeah, and I just haven't decided. That's the other thing, though, right? It's not even the policies. It's not that alone. And you just made a good point. I hope you get the result. I don't know what the result necessarily is that I'm looking for. I just want, kumbaya, right? I just picket fence. Everybody wants that, but it's not always holly jolly, right? So,
no.
You've got to be willing to, and again, we criticize our politicians very heavily. All politicians are crooks. That's not true. I think there's many out there that really do have a sincere agenda, right? But they certainly have that label. I don't know, but I've got till 9:30 p.m. tonight to make up my mind. And I've already got a busy day. So And at the end of the day, does it make a difference?
Oh, yes.
Does it make a difference? Yes.
Yeah. Vote.
It does.
Vote. Just the once. Just vote.
And honestly, if you don't know who to vote for and you're not sure, go to somebody you respect who you think might have a pretty good idea and ask them, I'm trying to decide, can you help me? Well, okay. I can have that conversation with you. Well, I had it with my son, right?
Yeah.
And he may likely come to me before the end of the day and go, this is what I'm doing. And I go, okay, I don't have to agree with you. Is that what you want to do? And what do you base that on?
Yeah.
Well, I base it on that. Yeah. So
I think it's important that young people vote and get into the habit of voting.
Yeah.
Because if you don't vote, you can't really argue with what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the 18 to 35-year-olds right now, at least in Canada. Mm-hmm. They need your vote. And your vote really, it's out of all the votes that matter, 18 to 35 matters more than the 50-year-old right now. And it certainly matters more than a 70-year-old voting. I don't even think my dad's going to vote. He's 82 years old. He's like, I'm like, Dad, you got to vote anyway. He goes, I'm not contributing to society. I don't intend to contribute to society. I don't want to contribute to society. I'm happy. I've had a wonderful life. I have money in my pocket to pay for myself to live. And what do I need? Yeah, well, then vote this way for me. And that's another thing too, right? Like you look at some parties, like I look at it and go, well, I'm voting for maybe what I'm interested in, but there's also a generation of my son and daughter's age that, maybe this would be better for them long term. So do I vote that way because it affects them? I know Jennifer in the last provincial election was looking at a party, and she was doing that. She was like, I'm not voting for that one. And I really think that guy's an idiot. So I'm going to vote over here. And that's when I said, wait a minute. Yeah. Why are you voting for them? Because I don't want them. Well, that's not, and there was that conversation again. And then I said, read the policies. She read some policies on the party that she was looking at. I went, I'm not voting for them. And I said, why not? She goes, well, for selfish reasons. I said, well, what's that? Well, their number one priority is to pay for childcare for people with children and support that financially. Right. I said, okay, well, what's wrong with that? She said, we don't have children. I don't have little babies. Why do my tax dollars got to help pay for that? It's no benefit to me. Okay. And then said, you made a conscious choice to have children. I made a conscious choice to not. So because you made a conscious choice or an unconscious choice, you made a choice either way to have children. Why should I have to pay for that? That's part of the responsibility of having children, is knowing that you're going to have to feed them and care for them and maybe go to work. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's an easy thing, especially for single parents. But anyway, that's a whole other.
Yeah. Well, in the first world, which we're fortunate to be part of, it's structured so that those who have help those who don't have. And being a don't have is not a conscious decision. It's an accident of birth. It's an accident of who your parents are. It's an accident of the environment you're actually brought up in. And the whole of society is based around the principle that those who can help, and those who need help get it. And that comes from everything from the health service to education to, well, you name it. It's all based around that principle.
Yeah, I hear you. And it's everybody's got their reasons. Are they selfish reasons? And that's what she said very clearly. For selfish reasons, okay. Ronnie's saying, I think the election doesn't change anything. Same problems, different areas. Well, the problems are never going to go away. There's always going to be problems. Everybody wants, like I said, they want a picket fence, and but I think Ronnie's right. I think what he's saying is that there's always issues to deal with, and there's always more coming up, and everybody wants money and support. Way back in the day, it used to be, there was actually, so we have what's called OHIP over here. That's our health care.
Yep.
So if I get a cough and I don't feel well, I can go to my doctor and it's paid for.
Right.
Or I can go to the emergency. If I break my leg, many surgeries are covered under OHIP. I don't have to pay anything. I pay it in my taxes.
Mm-hmm.
What's not covered is medical prescription drugs.
Right.
Well, unless you're age 25 and younger and meet some qualifications, then they started that.
Okay.
But there was a time when OHIP was first introduced. We're going to do this and this and this. People didn't want it. They said, no way. I don't want my taxes to go up. Don't want OHIP. Now, can't live without it.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders over in the United States talks about healthcare all the time, or was, and compares to Canada all the time. Why can't we do this? We have more anyway.
Yeah.
Give one, and then just go ahead.
I mean, since the NHS started, National Health Service in the UK, it's been, all treatment has been free at point of delivery. So, as you say, you can go to your doctor, you can go to the hospital, and everything is taken care of. So there aren't these medical bills that occur in the United States, and which can actually bankrupt people.
Yeah.
If you get ill and you can't afford it, then you've got a choice. Well, you've got no choice, if that's a choice. So I think that the systems that we have in Canada and the UK are the best ones available.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you are.
Well, it's a... Well, I think there's a reason people can have talk shows on politics, because you'll never run out of material to talk about. That's for sure.
Oh, no. I mean, we were in last weekend was the People's March. And Angelica and I were on the streets of London with 2 million other people, marching from Hyde Park to the Houses of Parliament.
Right.
And it was just an amazing day. You've got 2 million people, no hint of trouble. Everybody's in a good mood. Everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants to go to Parliament and to tell our government that they're doing the total wrong thing, and we want to stay in the EU. And to be part of that was special, because they were voting in the House of Commons that day, and the government was defeated. And the roar that went up from the crowd could be heard inside the House of Parliament, across the River Thames. It was just an amazing moment. And we were there as they announced the vote, and the government was defeated. The government is a minority government. It has 287 seats, 320 is a majority. So they are struggling. And fingers crossed, anything can still happen. It's all to play for. And we've been doing this for the last 3 years, 3 months. So there's never a shortage of things to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
right.
There's a completely different show today, broadcasting to your community. I guess we talked a little. We talked a little live streaming.
We did. Can I give a shout out for a show tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Right. There's a new show tomorrow. It's at 10 a.m. in the UK, 5 a.m. Eastern. It's myself and Marco Novo from Lisbon, Portugal. He and I always have a blast when we get together. We're getting together for the show tomorrow, talk about live video. And of course, we're going to be talking about Marco's Udemy courses, which are available in Portuguese and Spanish about live broadcasting. And I know that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people in Spain, Portugal, Brazil, all using BeLive. Now you've got the ability to actually learn about it in your native language, thanks to Marco. So that's the main talking point tomorrow.
Oh, wonderful. Shannon Sherrard says, Don Cherry for Prime Minister. Do you know who Don Cherry is?
Not yet.
Don
I've heard
Cherry,
the name. It rings a vague bell, but
yeah, Don Cherry and it's terrible. Ron McLean. Don Cherry was a head coach of Boston Bruins hockey team.
Okay.
Way back, and I think he was for like 1 year or 2 years. Anyway, he's quite famous for big collars and a big mouth, and the hockey night in Canada intermissions, and and I met him once. Actually, I was out in New Brunswick, and he has a chain of restaurants called Don Cherry's. Sports theme, obviously. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, what do you like about Don Cherry that you'd want him to be your prime minister? Well, and that's like over in the United States, right? You know, we've heard talk about Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, from originally from the wrestling world, right? Talk about him running and Oprah running, and I don't know. Should celebrities be involved in that? I guess they're just like anybody else, have the right to run.
True. Well, you've got two questions. Should celebrities become politicians? And should politicians think they're celebrities?
Right.
Questions on next week's show.
There you go. Well, the problem with that I see with celebrities that with those big names running is that I don't know that people, again, are going to vote for the right reasons.
Yeah.
You know, that's why Nike pays Michael Jordan to wear their shoes, because everybody likes Michael Jordan. Doesn't even matter if it's a good shoe. He just says it is, and then so they buy. You know, that's anyway. That's a whole
celebrity endorsement.
Yeah, but then again, Ronald Reagan was a president, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and a darn good one from memory.
Yeah.
But we
Reaganomics.
We managed to avoid the USA question, which is perhaps as well.
Yeah.
Well,
it's there you have it. It's been this has been a good conversation. Look at that. We got a few minutes left here, but we're pretty darn close to the end. We thank everybody for joining us here today. I'll be live 3:30 p.m. Eastern today, and I have some wonderful guests joining me. So I hope you'll join me. What's for dinner, Stephen?
I'm not cooking tonight, so I have no idea. It's not a special occasion. It's just that I am not cooking tonight.
Okay.
It's okay.
I don't cook. Well, I do, and I learned this from my father. If I'm cooking, if Jennifer says you're cooking tonight, that means where do you want to go? I can cook you anything you want. Okay. Chinese, French, Canadian, Mexican.
All right. Right. Okay. I just got a question popped into my head.
Oh yeah, go for it.
If you go to a Canadian restaurant, what would be on the menu?
Sandwiches, soups, burgers, steak.
Right. Okay.
Pasta. Depends where you go.
Right. It's okay. On a UK one, there'd be fish and chips and haggis.
Oh,
no, there wouldn't be haggis on the menu.
Jennifer doesn't like fish. She's just no. I don't want fish and don't enjoy fish, and she ate a lot of fish when they were younger because they were her family. They were quite poor, so they did a lot of fishing, and then they carved it up and ate the fish. She says, "I've had enough fish," but so I don't get fish too often. We're trying to avoid the buffets because they're just. We went to one at the casino the other day, and we're pretty choosy about what we eat off of that. But we're working on our figures, etc., and going to the gym.
Yep.
And when you go to a buffet and you pay $15, say, you still want to eat $50. I'm getting $50 worth of me. I can look at all this food. I can just eat, and then you go away going, oh, why did I do that?
Indeed.
But it was good at the time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So busy day here in Canada. Busy day here on the show, and you're gonna. Do you know what you're being cooked?
No.
Oh, it's a surprise, eh?
Well, I know basically what's being cooked. Yes, it's a casserole.
Oh.
Yeah, Angelica does the casserole cooking, and casserole cooking is relatively simple and straightforward. First of all, you've got to choose your ingredients,
Right.
And having chose your ingredients, you put it in a crock pot and you just leave it for 6 hours. So,
see, I could do that.
Delicious. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I mean, you go into the kitchen, you get all the vegetables, you prepare them, you chop them up, throw them in the pot, decide whether you're going to have chicken or sausages or beef or whatever, and you throw them in the pot, cover it with a sauce of some description, and then just leave it for 6 to 8 hours. And yeah.
Ronnie says he wants pizza day.
Pizza day is Saturday.
Oh, okay. Go. So get your plane ticket, Ronnie, and start heading over to the United Kingdom, and it should be there by Saturday.
Welcome.
We're going to Las Vegas for Christmas this year. Well, we'll be there until we'll be coming back Christmas Day. We'll be back here just for like 3 or 4 nights. Jennifer's never been. I've been about 8 times, so should be interesting. So looking forward to that. All right. Well, let's wrap it up, I guess, then. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We appreciate you joining us here today. If you enjoyed the show, give us a 10 in the comments below. And if you didn't like us, don't do anything. Just come back and give us a second chance next week, will you? From Sarnia, Ontario, Canada, Election Day, I'm David Burrows Steven Healey.
In Wiltshire, in England. Bye for now.
Bye for now.